Hey guys, Alex here. I'm just preparing for a line marking job we have on this evening, so I've come down to the farm to pick up some gear. And I thought I'd just do you guys a quick video to show you sort of equipment we're using, what we've got going on this evening. So these ones we're not actually using, so probably shouldn't show you them. But anyways, these are GPS-driven line marking machines, so it maps out everything we do using a GPS, which is absolutely fantastic when it comes down to accuracy. Really awesome machines. These are made by Fleet. They are expensive, but they are absolutely incredible. We have an iPad that goes on the top. We program in what we're painting, and the arm sort of comes out and corrects itself if we move off course. This one's for overmarking, which is just going over the top of the lines, basically. So you'll see it's got a boom on the side with extra sort of line spraying equipment on either side of it. That's just so that we can go around, say, running tracks or football pitches, whatever it might be. You know, it just helps us get things in real quick. Next, we have these ones here. So these are sort of line markers you'd typically see used on concrete surfaces. We use them to apply MMA paints. Two different systems. This one is the Graco 5900. It's a twin gun system. Absolutely amazing if you're doing double yellow lines, or if you're doing external line marking on a concrete surface. Absolutely amazing. All of ours are the laser guided ones as well. So we have these green lasers on the front, just controlled on the triggers there. And this one's also got a top box, which is for automatically applying the glass beads. Although we don't really use it, we tend to apply by hand as we get a much better finish. This one's a very similar machine, so it's all sort of a laser sort of guide on the front of this one as well. But this one's a battery powered system, 24 volt system, and that's for internal line markings. So if we're using a single or a double pack epoxy, we might use that machine internally, this one for external use. The other systems we use are this one here. This is your more traditional hot thermoplastic line marking system. So you've got a generator and a compressor on the front and a hydraulic pump, propane for the burners. So these are your 20-gallon burners, and the paint we put basically into here. This one is literally, it's so clean and tidy because it is literally brand new. We took delivery of it this afternoon. These are the paints we use on these ones. So these are the hot thermoplastic paints in yellow or white. So we put them into the burner. They come out at around 200 degrees. And they're the more traditional ones you'll see on blacktop, asphalt, tarmac, whatever you want to call it. That's the sort of equipment we use for that. These are the screed barrows. That is basically a mechanical version of these. So very, very simple to use. They hold 10 gallons in here. One of the propane tanks goes on the back of it just here and keeps it hot at around 200 degrees. And that's how we apply onto the tarmac or asphalt or blacktop. We've got the same down here as well. So this is just another one. So we've got one for yellow, one for white. You know, so they're 20 gallons per side. And that's, to be fair, that's actually a lot of paint. We can, you know, because it takes a few minutes to melt the paints as well. And the paints come in 1 ton pallets that we get delivered in. So we can get through quite a lot, really. Traditionally, you'll probably see these on the back of lorries. But to be fair, our line marking at least is very mixed between concrete for warehouses or internals as well. I'll show you some internal gear in a sec. We do an awful lot of warehouses, and they predominantly have concrete pads outside, block paving maybe in the car park. Sometimes they have tarmac or blacktop or asphalt, and that's where we use this sort of system. The other bits you'll see at the back, these are just sort of stocks of paint that we keep in, so different types. We've got MMA paints, we've got 2-part polyaspartics, we've got acrylics, we've got single pack epoxies, double epoxies, acrylics this side, preformed thermoplastics at the back. Depending on, you know, what it is you're going to be using, what we're painting, and what sort of finish you're looking for, it'll be a different paint to suit the needs. These are preformed. This is actually going into Amazon next week. This is preformed thermoplastic that's being used for a new Pride zebra crossing, and it's going to look absolutely amazing when it's installed. So I'll do you guys a video on that one as well. We have a lot of stencils for all of our signage. I know a lot of guys like to do it freehand. I'm a real stickler for the quality and I like it precise. So every single time we stencil it, I'm not into the freehand. At the back here, you'll see this is shot blasting equipment. This is how we prepare floors for internal use. So these are the shot blasting systems. It's a captive system. I've got another video on that, so I'll post that separately because that is a whole thing on its own. A huge investment and a bit more of a complex system to use, a bit more precise. And as I say, I've got another video on that one to show how it works and what's involved in that. This is drying equipment. So this is your HCA sort of style drying equipment where you have an engine or a generator on the front, and then you have an air compressor with a lance, and your lance fires a flame out of the front. I personally don't like them. A lot of companies, in fact, nearly every single company, line marking company you come across, they will use HCA lances either on their lorries or they will use portable ones like these. Now, I do own one. In fact, I own several of them. However, we recently took delivery of this in the coffin. This is a brand new jet turbine dryer that we've had delivered from Graco in the Netherlands. And I will do you a video on this one tomorrow night because I'm off to, trying to think where I'm off to use this one. Well, this one's going up to Liverpool tomorrow night. Because we think it's going to rain, and normally you can't line mark in the rain, and if we were using an HCA lance or something like that, then forget it. It's okay, once the rain stopped you can dry, but it's slow. You have a huge flame coming out the front. Actually, it causes more damage than it does good, to be honest. I mean, we've tried bits in here just to see how long we can hold it on concrete, how long we can hold it on tarmac, how long it takes to lift lines up. And we find more often than not, it just causes too much damage. So I'm really not a fan of HCA lances at all. And I think anyone using them needs to seriously consider perhaps looking at Graco and checking out some of their equipment, because these turbine dryers are very quick. They're not quiet, but they're a lot quieter than an HCA lance. They can be operated by one man. And trust me, I don't get commission or anything from Graco for it, but you should definitely check it out. Lastly, it's line removals. So line removals, again, HCA lance is the most popular way to remove a line. However, I prefer a different approach sometimes. They can be destructive. They can be quite fine and finessed. It depends on the user. So depending on what you've got, these are carbide tipped sort of flails or stars as they are on this one. And on this one at the moment, we've got carbide flails, sorry. So depending on what type of surface we're removing, so whether it's sort of polyaspartics, double packs, whether it's thermoplastics, how thick they are, what the substrate is underneath that. So we're doing it on concrete or tarmac. Depending on what we're doing, you get different tips that go on those. We've tried a few here. So this is a line we've just painted down, and then we've tried different methods to get it up. To see what works best so that we can lift it without removing any of the concrete underneath and damaging the floor, because at the end of the day, the client might well want the line removed, but they don't want the floor damaged and they don't want to see the marks there forevermore afterwards. They just want it gone. So that's a very brief, quick tour of our line marking setup here. We use a lot of these trailers because we can fit so much into these, and they look like horse boxes, and people generally, I mean, touch wood, we don't get broken into with these. This sort of stuff is always on display, and there's not much you can do with these. They're so big, and they need to be out like that. So hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of a sort of brief introduction to our line marking equipment, the sort of setup we use. In another video, I'll go through more vehicles, the lorry-based systems, more about the HCA lances, drying times, using this particular dryer, the Graco, paint mixtures. In fact, anything you guys want to know about line marking, let me know, drop me an email or a comment or something, and I'll make some more videos for you guys. All right, take care, thanks.